Hey guys, and welcome to another video. In this video is something a little bit different. What I want to do is explore this strategy, this very commonly spoken about term of BRRR. So what is it? Is it worth it? And I'm not going to try to teach you to just start doing it, get all your money out, etc, etc. All I'm going to do is give you this theory behind it. We're going to do some Excel calculations together, and we'll just figure out that when you do this strategy, how much do you need to increase the value in order to get all your money out, in order to be profitable, etc, etc. Right. So firstly, what is BRRR? It stands for buy, refurbish, refinance, rent. So that's where you buy a property, a bit run down, not great condition, you might get a discount. You refurbish it, get it to a nice looking standard, nice walls, nice kitchen, nice bathroom. You then refinance the property. Because you have done that refurbishment, the value has gone up. You refinance at the new value, take out a new mortgage, and that mortgage can often give you your money back, which means that then you can recycle that money to the next deal. And if you do it right and if you're smart, you can keep building a very large portfolio by keep utilizing that strategy. I'm not an expert in the strategy, but I want to spend time together going through it and understanding it better. So I have made a bit of a template just to understand what we're doing. What I want to go through is just in here. So we're going to look through at £50,000 flat or property, £100,000 property, and £200,000 property. For each one of those, we're going to look at a 5k refurb, 15k refurb, and 30k refurb. Those are quite realistic numbers, I think. Properties 50 to 200k, as a lot of them in the investment world. Refurbishment 5k, a little touch up, paint, bits fixed here and there. 15k, a bit more in depth, maybe a new kitchen, a few other bits and pieces. 30k, even more, you might change kitchen, bathroom, and a few other things. You can keep going, but for the purpose of this exercise, let's just stick to those 3 refurbs and really see how much you need to increase the value with those refurbs to get all your money out and to be successful and profitable in this strategy. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So let's start with a 50k property. If you're buying a flat for £50,000, you are going to be needing a 75% mortgage in most cases. So that would be 37,500. That means a 25% deposit, so 12,500 that you will need to pay in terms of a deposit. Let's go back and say we have the £5,000 refurb. Imagine you buy this flat, £50,000, you have spent £5,000 on the refurb. Your new value now goes up the same amount as the refurb. So when you refinance it, it was 50, you spent 5 on the refurb, now it's worth £55,000. That's what you get told. If that's the case, you can now get a new mortgage of £41,250. You already have an existing mortgage of £37,500, so you pay that one off with your new mortgage, and this is how much money you are left with. So if you do this refurb, you pay off the old mortgage, you increase the value by 5,000, which is exactly the same as what you spent on the refurb. It's not ideal, but that's what happened. And now you are left with an extra £3,750. You had your money in at 17.5, and you get this money back. So that means that this minus that is what you are left with. You increase the value exactly by £5,000, same as the refurb. You are then in a position where you have a slightly higher mortgage, and the money that you've put in decreases. It's obvious because you essentially put your refurb into the value of the property. So the first conclusion here is that you can consider doing this as money left in decreases. You obviously have to be careful. You have to have a look at how much all the refinancing costs are But for this simple example, if it's very easy to do, you can do a refurb. The value can increase exactly by that amount, which is unlikely, but sort of worst case scenario. And then if you refinance, you will still be better off potentially. You'll have a slightly higher monthly payment, but you will pull out some of that money from the deal. Okay, now what we've got is a £5,000 refurb, but a £10,000 increase in value. So that £50,000 property now became a £60,000 property, but you've only done a 5k refurb. Great. So now your mortgage is 75% again, which means that you pay off the old mortgage with that. You're left with £7,500. And remember, your money in was this. Then you take away 7.5. Let's check, is that right? I mean, the mortgage amount is definitely right. And the money that's left in, I think, is correct, because you have essentially created £5,000 of an increase, and you're capitalizing on that by doing this example. So if you increase it by £5,000, you end up again with a slightly higher monthly payment for the mortgage. However, the money left in decreases even further to £10,000. Now, let's imagine we've done the same 5k refurb, but the value actually increased by £15,000. So again, you do the mortgage at 75%. You pay off your old mortgage. You're left with that. The money you had in was that, and you get this back out. So in this case, you have only left £6,250 in the deal. Because you've done this refinance, because you've added value, you've left very little money in the deal, which is what people want. Now imagine a very extreme scenario. You've done this 5k refurb and the value went up to 80k. So you've done a 30k increase. Somehow you've done it all yourself. You've used amazing materials. You've got good deals, and you increase the value so much only with a 5k refurb. How would this work? Well, once again, you are left with a new mortgage of £60,000. You use that mortgage to pay off your old one. You're left with a difference of 22.5. And you had your money left in, which is that. Take away 22.5. You've actually made £5,000. So with this, you increase your mortgage, the amount that you owe, you increase the value of the property, and if you are so good that you manage to do a 5k refurb and get a 30k increase in price, you will actually earn £5,000, sort of cash-free money, because that will be the extra from the mortgage that will just land in your bank account. So where is the break-even point? We can double check, but where we want to be is we want for this number to be at 17.5. That's where you have taken all your money back out and you're not making any profit, but you're not making any loss. So where would that be? So at 17,500, let's just reverse that. Usually the mortgage, I do this minus this equals that. So I do this plus the mortgage. So we've got that divided by 0.75. 73,000. So for you to be breaking even on this, well, not breaking even, for you to invest into this £50,000 property, you can do a 5k refurb and increase the value by 23.3 thousand. If you're able to do that, you can then refinance and you can get all your money back out. So if you have a £23.3 thousand increase in terms of value with your refurb, you're then in a good position because you get all your money out, you rent the property, that pays for itself, cash flows, etc. You have an interest on the mortgage, and you can move to the next one. You're not constantly leaving money in because nobody has unlimited amounts of money. So conclusion 2. For a 50k property, 5k refurb, value has to go up by 23.3k to get all your money out. In reality, it's probably more than that, because remember, you need to consider the legal fees, refinance fees, all of that sort of stuff. But for a simple calculation, that will do. That's roughly where we are. Alright, so now let's move on and do the same sort of thing, but a £15,000 refurb. Hey guys, I am back. So I have just spent quite a few hours putting this together. I was going to do it as part of the video, but it just wouldn't make sense. You would be waiting for me to figure all this out for 2 hours, and it'd be very, very boring. Here we are, and this is the full analysis tab of the spreadsheet. I'm having to re-record this because the screen capture didn't work last time, so hopefully this time it's going to be okay. I'm going to upload the spreadsheet with the video, so you're able to access it anytime and use it as you wish. It's free. I'm not looking to get anything from it. It was more just a discovery for me as well as you guys as well. So as I've spoken about before, where you're looking at scenario 1, £50,000 property. £5,000 refurb, you need to increase the value by about 23k in order to get all your money back out, invested into the next deal. If you go for a lower increase in price, if that's what happens, you'll leave some money in that deal. If you get a higher increase, you end up making profit, extra profit from the deal. So that's quite good. As you go up to 15k, you need to be an increase of £36,600. Yeah, and that would get all your money back out. Again, if you increase it by more profit, increase it or have it increased by a smaller amount, then you have to leave money in the deal. And then £30,000 big refurb on a £50,000 property. What happens then is that you need to increase the value by £56,600. You're going to increase the mortgage, etc. However, that's what you need to do to get your money back out. As you can see from those numbers, for a 5k refurb, you are essentially having to create £18.3 thousand of value in order to get all your money out. For a 15k refurb, you are creating £21,000 worth of value to get your money out, and for a 30k refurb, you need to create £26,000 of value to get all your money out. So ideally, if you're amazing and you can, keep your refurb to a minimum and the increase to a maximum. Seems like a very obvious thing to say. However, if you're really good, if you can get on the tools, paint, do bits and pieces yourself, find good deals, go for it and do it, because that will really pay off as part of your portfolio building strategy, in my opinion. Let's look at 100,000. Again, you can see a refurb at 5, 15 and £30,000, and the valuation needs to be, so the increase in price needs to be 40k for a 5k refurb, 53k for a 15k refurb, and 73k for a 30k refurb. Again, relatively significant, and it's all of the other potential increases in price or increases in valuation are shown here, and it shows you exactly how much money will be left with each one of those deals. Then looking at 200,000, again, so for a 5k refurb, you're looking at adding £68,000 worth of value. For a 15k refurb, you need to add £71,000 worth of value. For a 30k refurb, you need to add £76,000 worth of value. And for a 50k, massive 50k refurb, you need to add £83,000 worth of value. So really, I would say it's unrealistic to get a £200,000 property, refurb it for £5,000 and add 73 grand to the value. It's very unlikely. There are some deals where you get a discount, and then when the revaluation comes, the discount kind of helps you get that value up. There are things like that, but that's quite unlikely. But you can just see as the refurb goes up, so does the value that you need to create within that refurb. So it's just something to keep in mind. Here's the analysis brief, so a summary of all the stuff I've analysed. £50,000, you start off with a 37,500 mortgage with some money left in, and as you do the refurb and revalue, you increase the price. This is what the increase needs to be to get all your money back out, so you're not leaving anything in the deal. and your mortgage also goes up. This summary also shows you if you take a mortgage, a repayment mortgage, and I'll do a separate video on repayment versus interest only. If you do a repayment mortgage at 5%, you will start off at £219 a month repayment mortgage. As you go up, if you do this big refurb, get your money out with this refurb at 30k, you can more than double your monthly payment for the mortgage. And that also applies to interest only. You know, your repayment, you're going from 458 to 219, so yeah, just over double. And you're pretty much doubling it here as well. Interest only going from 156 to 333. So be very conscious that if you're doing the strategy, if you're going to do a huge refurb, refinance it all, remember your mortgage will be impacted. That's the thing that's going to increase. Your monthly payments will increase. So just do a bit of analysis of cash flow, of how the mortgage payment stacks up against the rent that you'll be receiving and how that's going to work. So next we've got £100,000 flat at 5k refurb, 40,000 increase is required, 15k 53,000 increase, and so on and so forth. Again, you can see with the mortgages, if initial mortgage will be 438 repayment or 312 interest, that can go up to 760 or 541. So quite a big increase, again, something that you need to keep in mind. And for a 200k property, exactly the same. You need to be putting in a refurb that adds a lot of value, because 200k is quite a big price tag. You need to consider the taxes very carefully and the mortgage payments, because at those levels you end up having quite high mortgage. You know, you could end up with going from 6 to 5 interest on the mortgage to over £1,000 a month, and that can really impact your rental yields. So something to keep in mind. So I hope that you can take this away. You can use this however you want, but my personal advice is, when you're looking at a property, say on Rightmove, you see a flat at £50,000 and you think, okay, interesting, that needs a window, that needs this, that needs that, probably 15k refurb. So you think, right, okay, with a 15k refurb, it'll be at 65k. How much do I need to increase the value to do this BRRR strategy and get all my money out? You don't need to calculate it, it's right here for you. If it's a 50k flat and a 15k refurb, you need to increase the value by 36,667. So what that basically means is that you need to have a look at that flat, say, okay, can I do the refurb for 15k? Have I got the contacts? Can I get it done? And if the answer is yes, is there potential for this flat after the refurb to be worth potentially 90,000? So look at comparable prices in the area. Are there sold properties that are similar or better standard refurb properties nearby that are selling for £80,000 or £90,000? If that is the case and they are selling, then that could be a perfect deal for you. You can go in there, do a refurb, refinance at this amount, get all your money out, move to the next one. Same for 100 and 200,000. You see a £200,000 property, you think it will need a very small 5k refurb, you know you need to increase the value by 73,000 to get your money out, so that's going to be hard. However, maybe it needs a big refurb, and if you can put a £50,000 refurb in, redo everything, increase the value by 133,000, you'll get all your money out. So that just shows you how to make it work potentially within those deals, and it also shows you how much your potential exposure in terms of mortgage will be. Alright, I'll end it here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get to use this spreadsheet. Any feedback, any corrections, please let me know in the comments. And I'm looking forward to diving in more and analysing more of this with you guys. Thank you.